a freshman at Skyline High School. And I feel like as a student, like what he said, I feel like we need smaller class sizes. We need teachers that are actually going to take the time and get to know us and actually help us on certain areas in that, certain curriculum that we need. We need programs like youth centers, we need after school programs, we need like more counselors, we need more school therapists like in mental health. And the way that we're fighting for it, we're doing these strikes, we're doing teach-ins, we're doing sick-outs, and we're going to so at Skyline, I know we're going to classrooms and we're telling people about what's going on, and we call that a teach-in. So that's something that we do,
Hi everyone, I'm Doraya, and just to touch on what Joe Kasha said is just that, and if you guys care about our education, why do you make us pay $1, $2 a day to get on the bus? Most of these students can't afford that. We live in East Oakland, and I mean our parents make money, but we still have other siblings who need funding, and they don't have enough money to pay $2, $3 to get us to the bus, and we take an extra class at Laney, so that's $4 a day. But other than that, we just hope that our siblings don't have to do what we're dealing with because they're in elementary school, and we want them to have a better education than we've ever had. Because me being in and out of OUSD, I went to an elementary school where I had a second and third grade class, and my teacher was older. She struggled to teach both classes. Like most of the day, she would take one day she'll do second, the next day she'll do third, because it was too hard for her to teach both classes. So I feel like that's unfair for them to make her do that, especially as an older teacher. So I just hope things change.
And I also want to say that as students, we have a privilege that our teachers do not have as the working class, that our district wants to threaten their jobs or even threaten deportation. And as students, we want to be able to stand up for our teachers who can't stand up for themselves, and we want to be the voice for our teachers who can't have a voice. It's not just about our teachers. Students have gone through these same issues. Students can empathize with our teachers with poverty, with deportation, with inequalities in our system. And for us, it's more than just standing up for our teachers. It's standing up for our parents, standing up for our community, standing up for the people.
Okay, so Oakland schools are known as sanctuary schools. We need teachers who are able to support us and keep students at school and make us feel safe. At my school, we have newcomers, and those kids feel safe at our school because there's teachers around them that are able to support them and make them feel like we're all equal instead of viewing them as less than. And I completely agree that we should keep all of those teachers to support us, and even the RJ facilitators, all of our counselors should stay instead of being basically found out our schools. And I disagree that they should OSD cutting out these positions because they deserve to stay at our district. And what we're doing now at Oakland High School is that we have several student leaders come together. We have our own little group chat, and we organize student walkouts, and we plan to support our teachers by like going to their walkouts as well. And we run like a student class page, and we're always posting about these events so we can get other students to join the movement and not just we don't want to be like secretive about it. We want everyone to be a part of it. We want as much voices and perspectives from other people.
So what we've been doing at Oakland High School is we basically added to our leadership class. So in leadership, we actually put a topic on helping with the strike as well. So we have different groups that we're working on to like forward the event or like the strike for teachers. And I'm glad to say that most of us here are officers, and we run different accounts like Oak Student Rising with me and Kimberly. And I would like to thank them for also reaching out to their class here, because we're not getting enough recognition. I feel like as students we should be proud of we should be helping those who are coming after us as well, not just us too. So if we were to sorry about all the lights. So I feel if we were to branch out, we should spread the word more. It should be spreading social media. Social media is definitely a option for all of us right now. And we can post on our stories, even this, just telling about people about things like this will help further the movement as well.
I think that we need just our basic school supplies that we're not getting. Yeah. For my math class, in the beginning of the school year, we didn't have enough tables and chairs, so we had to squeeze 3 or 4 people on one table. And for me, there was not enough chairs, so I just volunteered to sit on the ground. And the ground was cool and all, but it would be nice to have the chair. It would have been nice to have the chair, So that happened for a good month of school, and we finally got some more chairs. But it took so long, to be able to have simple school supplies, and that contributes to our learning. And then also there was a big hole in the ceiling of my math class, and there was a flood or something. I don't know what was going on, but yeah, there was a big hole in the ceiling for math class. So that was just weird, and I wish we got more funding and support so that we can live and learn in a school environment that is comfortable for us. And what we've been doing at Oakland High, like Jason was saying, is that we've been doing in our leadership class, we have different sections that we're working on, so we're incorporating it in our school because we're not doing enough right now. From our school, we're not doing enough. We could always do more. So our teacher, Ms. Howard, gave us the idea to add it into leadership class so that we're all involved. And our leadership class has 40 students. So I'm able to reach out, if we have any events like this one, I could just say it and they'll all post it on their Instagrams. And that way we can reach out to other schools too. Because I try to tag other schools like Oakland Tech or Skyline and everyone, so everyone can come to these events. And like I said at first, if no one knows about it, it's not going to work. So yeah, just spreading the message more and getting more people to come.
Thank you guys so much. Let's give them a round.
what is the role of rank and file socialists organizing in their union?
Yeah, thank you so much, Ella. Once again, I'm Hannah, our teacher at Redwood Heights Elementary. And first of all, I just want to say thank you to all the students who are here today. I think that you see so clearly what the problems are in our schools, and I'm so excited to stand with you on the picket line on Thursday. So to me, I see the most important tasks for socialists in the rank and file as being the development and expansion of what we call a militant minority in the labor movement. The militant minority is basically a layer of workplace-based rank and file leaders who are committed to organizing in their workplaces on a daily basis. So, like the teachers of all these students here who take time out of their curriculum to sit down and talk about what's going on with the strike and how students can support. People that are committed enough to the struggle and see that we can get more if we demand more, and who are willing to fight for that every day. And so the militant minority can be us socialists. It can be you all if you decide to become teachers, like I did. And it can be us, once we have the respect and the trust of our coworkers when we're committed to the fight. But also workplaces, most of them already have leaders, right? And those leaders might be already plugged into the union work, or they might not be doing that yet. We have to, analyze our workplaces and see who people listen to, right? Who do our coworkers go to when there's a problem at work or with the boss? Those people are already leading other workers in the struggle, and as socialists, we can support them in bringing that fight to a higher level, right? And so, yeah, for real. So it's not just that socialists can be great rank and file organizers on the shop floor. It's also the politics that we bring to these struggles. As socialists, we know that at the root of all of this, at the root of there being that hole in the ceiling in Oakland High with the water coming down, the root of that problem is capitalism. And the shitty managers and the bad bosses that make our lives as workers much worse than they need to be are just implementing the capitalist agenda and fighting for the interests of the ultra-wealthy few. So this is what we know, and we can bring that analysis into our workplace. Through studying Marxism, right, we understand that the only force that can actually overthrow capitalism and end this immiseration once and for all and truly transform society into one that is for people, not for profit, is the working class, right? It's the working class. And that's not because the working class is the coolest or the best, right? Although we all know that the working class is. It's because the working class makes society run. We create all wealth. The only way to keep capitalism moving is to keep workers working. So in that whole schema, we, the workers, have the power. And there's tremendous potential there, am I right? So because we have this broader political understanding as socialists in the rank and file, we understand how high the stakes are in building fighting unions and how much possibility there is as well. This predisposes socialists to become incredibly committed union militants, as I think that we can all see, especially hearing the stories that Tim has brought to this panel. And also, it's not just that, it's also that we can bring in the history and the present of union struggles, and bring that kind of historical understanding into the work that we're doing now. So we bring with us this political vision that orients us towards not just winning in the workplace, winning better schools for open students, teachers, and families, but for winning a better world, right? We have a world to win. You've heard that before, haven't you? And it's so important that we bring the lessons from the history of the working class into our present day fights. And we find ways to connect the struggles that are happening in classrooms, in schools, all over the country and all over the world together. So yeah, I'm so excited by the potential of more and more socialists entering the rank and file as union militants and uniting with other spheres of work like bringing together electoral work and labor work, like I think we saw the fruits of and the beginnings of in the plenary last night with Cecily and Javanka, right? These struggles are totally interconnected, and politics and what happens in the ballot box has incredible relevance to what happens in the Oakland School District. So we can make those connections, we can bring this higher analysis into these fights, and we can inspire our fellow workers to demand more until we win the whole world.
I don't know if I have much to add, actually. That's very comprehensive. I think one of the things that I really struggle with in my union around rank and file strategy is just like, you know, there's such a like utter sense of hopelessness and powerlessness that you have to really break through. And so when there's moments of like heightened awareness and more saliency, you really have to like take advantage of that to really impress upon workers that like the power is in their hands. The union's not something separate from them. It's us as members standing next to each other on the picket lines or going to work actions, signing petitions, putting stickers on our desks, whatever. But, you know, it's because it's been so hard at Contra Costa for the last 10 years, I think a lot of people have like been really disconnected from that because we don't have a lot of internal democracy, which is a role as socialists we really also need to keep in mind. You know, we haven't had elections since I've worked there since 2014 for chapter officers. I was appointed. So I think it's really important that we always keep that in mind on how to engage our members, you know, because people have a lot of pressures, you know. I have members who live in their car. I have members who can't afford to get to work because they don't have gas. So it's like, how do you talk to members who have such dire circumstances like that to let them and get them to a like militant unionist consciousness, then move them to sort of like class struggle and really connecting it to those politics that are out there, like connecting to them to what Bernie's going out there. He never misses a labor fight. Every time he's in the news, I talk about that with my members. I take that opportunity. When we're talking about Medicare for all, I let them know, look, we're the means testers. We talk about it every day about universal social programs. We wouldn't have jobs and when Medicare for all comes through, but that's okay. We can be retrained to do other things. But you know, we have to really like impress upon people that we're the union, we have to take control of it, and we need to just keep our eye on the ball and really like connect it to those larger struggles. That's a really huge part, because a lot of people get really bogged down in sort of like the day-to-day details of like not being able to process their work time. Like it's like, you can't process your work time because there's not enough staff. And there's not enough staff because politics have decided that in this county, we're going to be fiscally conservative and we're not going to hire people. And every year we let a bunch of vacancies go so that they can keep cutting year after year. And they're doing that because they don't believe in social services. They don't believe people should have these benefits, and they don't believe that. So you have to really, sometimes you have to handhold a little bit and pull them through that, because at least in my union, we have all different kinds of education levels. You know, eligibility workers don't need a college degree. Oftentimes they have a high school degree, but you have social workers who have doctorate degrees. So you're talking to a range of people, and you have to just really take that time and be really patient to meet people where they're at so that you can get them involved in the union and get them, you know, to transform their consciousness and their class consciousness specifically, so that they understand like where they fall in those like larger political dynamics. Because, you know, our work is very critical. You know, people depend on it for their lives. So again, you know, please go out and get a union job. It's so important. We need socialists doing that work, because we're the ones, again, like Hannah said, that have that institutional memory, that have that long-term vision, and can really help, you know, spread that information through the working class.
Hannah's comments reminded me of the slogan by the great Irish socialist James Connolly, that in response to people saying that our demands should be more moderate, we say, well, we only want the earth. So my next question is for Hannah and Tim, and it's, what's the significance of this current strike wave? You can address it from any perspective. Why is it important for socialists, for your union, for the labor movement?
So this strike wave is impressive. I just saw statistics yesterday showing a giant rebound in strike waves in the United States, the most since 1986, and a lot of that is led by teachers. I think that is encouraging in general, but very specific to our struggle. I think it has transformed my work. I'm now working with students who are on the same team. We're advocating for not just better public schools, but we're unfortunately, we're advocating to preserve public education together. And that's a fight that we have to win together with students, parents, families, socialists, teachers. All of us are working together to fight this. We've suffered from 30 years of austerity. When they make cuts, they say that they're cuts and they're going to come back, and they do not come back. The cuts that were made in 2008, we have not rebounded from them. Our schools are skeletally staffed, which means that sometimes there's no administrators on the site. If there's a problem, I've been the teacher in charge, and I have a classroom, and I have to be responsible if there's a fire. And so it's just absurd. We are staffed below the levels that is imaginable, and it's certainly not the kind of education that these students deserve. So I'm super inspired to be with them, and I can hear in their voices that they are fearless, and they have their bullshit detectors on for the OUSD. The members of the school board, who are mostly a bought and sold operation of the billionaires, and a group called Go Public Schools, which is funneling the money from billionaires into Oakland to promote a vision which is the end of public education in this country. So we fight for that because public education is key for these students and working class students all over the United States. It is a chance to become what you want to become. It's a chance to become educated, conscious about the real issues that are facing us. Public education is our fight, and I feel very inspired by the strike wave of teachers and by the role of students, especially in Denver and in Oakland this week. We're going to take this fight not just to Oakland, but also to the state of California. The state of California is also a disgrace when it comes to public education funding. They fund at about half the rate of what other states do, and they certainly don't fund as much as the fifth richest economy in the world should fund. Our schools are legacies to a thing called Proposition 13, which is when they basically froze corporate taxation on property taxes. I don't want to be boring, but we're going to fix that. We're going to take that fight to the state and end the corporate loopholes and bring back $5 to $10 billion in funding for a new plan for public education. We're going to bring that back, and in the process of doing that, we're going to raise people's awareness about who the enemy is, the billionaires, and what the solution is. Spoiler alert, socialism.
Been tremendously inspiring to see workers all over the country rising up and utilizing the most powerful weapon we have at our disposal, which is the strike weapon, right? It's phenomenal. And I also want to say that it's not just education workers that are standing up and fighting back, although we do make up the majority. If you saw, did anyone see that graph? With started in 1986, and then slowly the strike numbers went down, then went way back up in 2018, and it was all purple because it was education workers. Yeah, that's us. So it's also, workers at the Marriott hotels around the country. Here in Oakland, 29 days or something amazing like that. And they won a 23% raise. It was incredible. And don't let anyone in the local media tell you any different. It was workers threatening strike that ended the federal shutdown, right? We're fighting for these universal social goods that all of us deserve to have, and we're also inspiring people in all sectors to stand up and fight for the working conditions and for the living conditions that we really need as a society. And I want to speak specifically about what's happening in Oakland for a moment from my perspective, because I'm the person behind the social media accounts for OEA, and so I see a lot of the solidarity photos and comments and stuff coming in, and I just think it's just incredible. We're getting photos from West Virginia, from teachers in Denver, from teachers in Sao Paulo, Brazil, who are on strike right now, and Oakland teachers are seeing those pictures. It's not just Oakland teachers, it's the Oakland Unified School District too, and they're scared shitless. It's amazing. small district. Like whereas LA has, I think, over 30,000 workers in their union, we have about 3,000. So the scale is much smaller. And any other year, maybe in one of those years in the graph that wasn't so purple and tall, we wouldn't see the same kind of media attention and attention from ordinary people around the country to what's happening here in Oakland. And when all eyes are on Oakland, that means that the Oakland Unified School District is in the spotlight. And if they fuck up, which they do constantly, everyone is watching. And I think it's incredibly critical to have the kind of national attention on this particular strike, because what's happening here in Oakland is incredibly consequential for the fight for public education nationwide. Our school district is hell-bent, as Tim was talking about, on pushing through this proposal to close 24 of our 86 schools. 24 of them! And as we've seen, since 2004, I think they've closed 16, 18 schools, something like that. And the majority of those have been reopened as charter schools. Non-union charter schools for the most part. And Oakland is a pretty small district, but it's the district that has the highest enrollment rate in charters in the entire state. And so the billionaires, like Betsy DeVos, Carrie Walton Penner of the Walmart family, Reed Hastings of Netflix, they have their sights set on Oakland. Because what they see, and also what they know, I think they're correct in this, is that if Oakland falls, then that opens up the playing field for the rest of California. So right now, we're defending public education in Oakland, we're defending public education in California, and we're defending public education in this country. They're completely hell-bent on pushing through this plan, and they're already kind of setting the gears in motion. They just voted to close Roots, which is a middle school in East Oakland that serves primarily Black and brown youth, most of whom are on free and reduced lunches, none of whom wanted their school to close. They showed up to the school meeting after meeting, week after week, staying up till 11 on a school night, yelling at these school members saying, I don't want my school to close, I'm learning for the first time here, I feel respected, I feel like I'm cared for, I found a home here, and the school board voted to close it anyway. So it's already happening. And so it's incredibly important that our strike is as strong as possible. And for our strike to be as strong as possible, we need the teachers in the Oakland Education Association and the students that we teach and that will be with us on the picket lines come Thursday to feel a sense of confidence, to know that the world is with us, that everyone has our backs, right? And that's what the Teachers Strike Wave has to offer us, because everyone's thinking about it, everyone's watching, and most people who know what's going on are there to offer us support. So I think it's this incredible boost in confidence that's going to enable us to really win the fight of our lives here.